Hello, 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 hello. Hi, everybody. Good morning, good afternoon to you, good evening. How are you doing? It's Live a Phenomenal Life Show with me, Madame Merola, your host. I am the banger creator that ignites the beautiful and bold, audacious, no excuses, God's masterpiece in you. It is the 29th of March, 2021. And guess what? It's the last Monday of this month. And also, we are in the Holy Week. So this weekend, we're going to be celebrating Easter, and it is awesome to be alive. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Hi, Michael. It's good to have you here. I'm excited because all month of March, we have been having the series of Choose to Challenge, because it's been a month about celebrating women and asking ourselves the question, how can we continue to challenge the status quo? How can we continue to get women to move ahead in the frontiers that they've decided to embark on? How can we continue to support women? How can we continue to also encourage, empower, and be the best version of ourselves as women? Because everybody has a woman in their life. It's either you're a woman or you got a woman in your life, or of course you were born by a woman. So we all should be on the agenda of breaking frontiers and allowing women to shine in their area of influence. So that is why we're here today, the final installment of the series. And we're going to be talking about women shattering the glass ceiling. Last week, we talked about women as spiritual leaders, and we were able to come to certain conclusions that, yes, women do have a rightful place in as spiritual leaders. So now we want to look at what has been taking place. How come all of a sudden it seems like we are finally pushing through and able to break the barriers that has been there for a long time? Women are now presidents, vice presidents, becoming, the director generals of large corporations, institutions that have existed for a long time that have never had a woman leading them. Certainly women are now able to take those positions. So we want to see what has happened and how can we continue to push ahead? How can we get more women to start to take on leadership role in political spheres, educational spheres, whatever sphere that we have? We want to see more women. So that's why we're here today. So welcome, welcome, welcome. Please do feel free to start a watch party. Invite your friends to join us. It's going to be amazing. My beautiful guest is already here. Her name is Caroline Popoola, and she is phenomenal in all ways. She's someone that has broken some frontiers in her industry. And above all, she's just a wonderful, wonderful supporter of other women that are also trying to do something great in their own spheres of influence. So let me read her bio to you guys, and then I'll bring her up on screen, and then we can start the interview whereby she will share with us her backstory, and then we can start the conversation about women shattering the glass ceiling. Are we ready, ladies and gentlemen? I'm ready. My guest is ready. So let's get this show on the road. So while we're here today, as I said, women shattering glass ceilings, and my guest is Caroline Popoola. Caroline Popoola is a childcare business expert, columnist, speaker, entrepreneur, and CEO of Alpha Childcare Limited, a leading UK childcare provider who is passionate about developing quality leaders in education and their teams. Caroline currently runs over 14 childcare settings in the UK, leading a team of 75 childcare experts in helping over 500 children every day. A graduate of the Sade Business School, that's the Business School of the University of Oxford, and a participant of the Goldman Sachs 10 KSB Alumni Conference, her business sustainability and growth model has helped many businesses surpass their objectives. Caroline Popoola Consultancy assists businesses and organizations to develop effective and sustainable business strategies alongside equipping them with great leadership skills. Caroline contributes immensely to the community through the Caroline Popoola Foundation, in line with her personal and company ethos, which at present helps to feed 150 parents and children from low-income backgrounds monthly. The foundation runs a delivery food bank to various homes across London. In addition to this, the foundation supports startup businesses with seed funding and has provided bursaries for a number of young people to get into higher education. Ladies and gentlemen, it gives me great joy to invite on screen Caroline Popoola. Boom, 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 boom. Welcome, sis. Hi.
Thank you so much
Good
for having me. It's
afternoon.
lovely to be here. It's interesting, isn't it? We've been thinking about doing something like this. Well, I've been thinking about doing something like this with you for a long time, but you didn't know that, did you? See how God works.
I did. I did not know that.
No, thank you
So
so much for having
yes.
me here. It's incredible. Look at where I've come from to now, and just having these opportunities to actually speak to other people and literally share my life and stuff. It's like thinking, really, are you sure it's the same girl? And it's so weird. It's like, even though I've been doing this for a little while now, I still, if my sister ever sort of like tuned in, I sort of like think, go and show mommy, go and show mommy. Literally, I say to her, go tell mommy, can mommy see me? You know, because it's all of those things, like you want to make them proud. And I have a reason for saying that. Obviously, like so many of us, I'm not even letting you talk now. I'm not even letting you talk now.
It's fine. It's fine.
I say
it's fine.
can talk for I can talk for England. I'm one of them. If talking was an Olympic game, I win gold all the time. I can talk for England.
Wow, that's interesting.
So
We'll have to have a competition on that. We'll have to see whether you're going to actually get the gold or not. Thank you so much for joining us today.
It's lovely to be here. Thank you.
Thank you. It's a privilege and honor to have you here, because you are someone who's definitely worth having on the show. And trust me, we're excited to have you here. We're also excited to hear about your backstory and also your thoughts about women shattering the glass ceilings, because you know what, we're both women, and so we want to be able to encourage other women to be able to go for their dreams, live their legacy and stuff like that, and that no one should be left behind. No one should feel inadequate. No one should feel like they don't have the wherewithal or the support system to be able to get them on the track to living their best life and fulfilling their dreams, living out their passion, and of course giving out the best of the gifts and talents that God has equipped them with, especially as women. So it's going to be a fascinating topic. And I'm a little bit sad that it's the last one in the series of the Choose to Challenge, because it's been so much fun talking about, you know, how we can help women in particular. But I think we've done justice to it. And I'm sure going forward, we'll probably have another series about women, or even something that is really, really important to the development and growth of humanity as a whole. So before we get into your backstory, we're going to share affirmations. So I hope you came ready to share some affirmations with us. So I'm going to share some from my Gold Digger box collection. I don't know if you can see that. So I've got like 50 something different cards in it, and I randomly select. So I'm just going to shuffle them and then pick any 5 to read, and then
would you want me to share one, or would you want me to share one, or you're sharing?
You're going to share. You're definitely going to share one after I'm done sharing the 5 from the cards that I select. So get ready to share yours with us.
Oh my word! This woman
every guest shares an affirmation. It is part of what we do here on Live a Phenomenal Life Show. Every guest gets to share one. So these are the 5 cards that I've selected. So let's start. The first one says, I know my true worth. I deserve the best in all spheres of life. I refuse to settle for a mediocre life. I constantly receive the best from life. Woo! Awesome. The second one says, I am equal to all, inferior to none. I am living my life as an authentic self, and I dazzle in my originality. That's actually my favorite one. My favorite all-time affirmation.
I like that.
The third card says, I think only good thoughts that make me feel empowered and capable. I have the mindset of a champion. Woohoo! Yes, yes, yes. The fourth card says, I have a great self-image. I have a high self-esteem. I embrace my true identity. I love myself and I'm always true to myself. I am me, and that's the best person for me to be. Woo! Yes, yes, yes. And the final card says, I am intentional and deliberate about my life. I have a laser focus towards my life's visions and goals. I say yes to my dreams and heart desires, and life says yes to me also. Yay! Awesome
Well
cards,
done.
awesome.
I like it. I like it. I like it. I like it. So I'm only going to share one, right?
Yes.
All right. No, I love it. And honestly, obviously I talk about Clubhouse quite a bit because it's the new thing now. But on there, I was talking last week. I was in a room of over 700 people, and I was talking last week about affirmation. And when people talk about affirmation, and it's almost like a thing that everyone talks about. But the one thing about affirmation is not just saying it, it's getting it, understanding it, and internalizing it for yourself. It's
That's
one thing
right.
saying it, but people need to internalize it and visualize yourself being that thing that you are talking about. Or it's
Very
just
correct.
another word that you just say on a daily basis without it. So with people listening, I can see friends, with people listening, it's so important that you say these affirmations, but again, you internalize it and you start to see these things materialize in your life.
Mm-hmm.
So the
That's
one I
true.
want to share with us, I think you can hear me. The one I want to share with us, I'm just going to share one quickly. It's like, I love and approve of myself.
I like
I
that.
feel the presence of those who aren't physically here around me, but I love and approve of who I am set to be. I am too big a gift to the world to be wasted at any time. So I
Mm.
approve of me. Did you get that? I am too big a gift to the world. And I get that. I get that. I am my authentic self with no apology given.
Yes, 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 yes. Beautiful, 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 beautiful. I feel that, and I totally align with that as well. So, and what you said about affirmation is so true. When I teach people about affirmations, people keep on asking me questions about, oh, why do you share affirmations every day? What made you become an affirmation expert and stuff? And I tell them it's because of the fact that the minute I started internalizing it, and then I saw how it changes my physiology,
That's it.
it improved my mood, it changed my mindset, and then I started to see the corresponding results in my life. I knew then that the power of the words we speak, according to the way the scripture says it, that the words we speak are spirit and life. I started realizing that the power to give life to myself and to my situation and to my destiny, like it was lying in my tongue. So I needed to change what I said. And of course, the more I said the right things, the more I also started thinking on the good things, things that were pure, things that were good, things that were perfect, things that were that would boost my energy, boost, yes, that would make me feel more positive and courageous and bold enough to go for my dreams. The more I started to see the right results in my life. So for me, I'm a walking, talking, living testament to the fact that the affirmations we speak can literally transform and create the life you desire. So that's the reason why we don't play with it on the show. We share affirmations every single time because it can transform and truly change your life. So thank you for sharing that powerful affirmation and also that little bit about why affirmations matter. Fina Chichi was here just a few minutes ago saying hello to me, her fellow birthday mate, and to Caroline, her dearest friend. And then Michael says, excellent foundation, internalize and visualize to materialize. Oh, that was rhyming. All right now. Internalize and visualize to materialize. All right. Thanks a lot for sharing that, Michael. So Michael is actually AKA Ira Rev. So you do know who he is.
Okay, I know I read. I know I read. Yes, yeah, yeah.
Yes,
I
okay.
know I
And Fina says, I'm still here. So, hi, Fina. Thanks for joining us. So, Caroline, please share your backstory with us. How did you get to this point in life where you own like a chain of childcare schools in the United Kingdom? You have a foundation, you have Caroline Popoola Consultancy. Girl, spill the beans. What did you eat when you were a kid? Like, what kind of rejection?
I think it's more like what did I not eat? I think it's more like what did I not eat? Honestly, like I said
Vitamins
originally,
did you
like I
take?
said originally, like I said at the beginning. Honestly, I am so grateful. God takes all of the glory all of the time. There is no Caroline without Christ. It's just impossible. Because
Hallelujah.
like anybody else, or like most of us, and you, will obviously you're born in the UK, then you go back to Nigeria. At the time, the parents they think they're doing the right thing, which is great, which is incredible because I would not take it back for anything. I love my life, I love my culture, I love the good parts of what it is to be a Nigerian and what it is to be a UK citizen and all of that. I wouldn't take that back. But I think for me, growing up, my mom has always been an entrepreneur. It's always been. It's never been anything else. I've never known anything. I've never known her work for anyone. So that's what I grew up knowing. So at the age of, I think about between the ages of 10 and 14, so I went back to Nigeria when I was 9 and came back when I was 16. All I knew was business, literally with mom between 10 and 14. And we moved to Abuja. I mean, I always joke that when we moved to Abuja, they didn't have clothes at the time. They literally, the days you carry your boobies and walk on the street, basically, that's when we moved to Abuja. You know, so we're the first timers in Abuja, right? We're the first timers. So, um, and, so the one thing I noticed, like I knew I failed literally every course, every education, everything, GCSE, name it, I failed all of it. But every time I think I went to a school called Federal School of Arts and Science in Suleja in Abuja somewhere, I think Suleja is Abuja. And I went there, but every time I went in to stay over, I got ill and I had to come back home. And I come back home because I want to do business with mom. I hated studies. And literally, I hated studies. So I came back home every time. And then eventually she got fed up. She would constantly, all right, speak to someone that knows someone that can help me do jam and all that stuff. And I still failed. And she's like, oh, Caroline, you're becoming so embarrassing. Like, I am so embarrassed to actually have you. I don't know who else to speak to because you've literally failed everything there is to do. So I think the best thing is just go back to the UK where one literally, like, no one know me. Just go back to the UK and you can just go do whatever you want to do. So that was her way of getting rid of me because I was embarrassing her. And then I came back to the UK, and obviously, like everybody else, you start from the bottom. You worked hard. You know, I did so many things from cleaning to being a squatter in a flat. Literally, name it, I did it all. But the one thing is, I've always wanted to. I always assumed I need to be better, but I didn't know how to get better. I know I want to be better, but I didn't know what to do. I mean, the days we're talking about, so like in the early 90s, you don't have things like mentorship. Maybe they did, I just didn't know about it. Because remember, I came from the village of Abuja, right? So even if they had mentors in Lagos, we didn't have mentors in Abuja. We didn't know that. We didn't know, you know. So I literally, I knew I wanted to be better, but I didn't know how to be better. So I would constantly do like short courses to be a typist or whatever in part time, but I still kept my cleaning job and all that. And eventually, I tried to get a job in an organization, drop my CV on the desk, and think. And that's literally the way I made it in terms of got onto that ladder of being employed by someone from just doing so like cleaning work, but to go into working for an organization. And I work for a company called Aon Group, which is the largest insurance company in the world. So at the time I was in my, I think between the ages of 19 to 21, 22, something like that. And I worked for them. By the time, obviously in the city, like, your face don't fit, your color don't fit. One, you're a girl, and two, you're black. You just don't fit. We could literally, in the city of London, you can count how many black people in the city of London at the time. You all know yourself, literally, because you're walking past, you're going to lunch, say, oh, okay, my type. Like literally, So, and but at the time, because I was so young, I never thought about anything like racism, or I never thought about sexism. I just literally, when the Bible says innocent, like, no, and that's generally what I was. And to me, I like it now, thinking back, because if I had all those prejudices in my head, that would have really determined how I behaved, how I maneuvered around, and so on. So for me, I was quite naive, very naive, and so innocent not to even notice all of those things, even though they did exist. Looking back now, I just felt, oh well, he just doesn't like me, or I'm just not getting on because whatever, like maybe there's just no position there, rather than thinking, Caroline, because you're black and because you're a girl, that's why you can't shatter that glass ceiling. That's why you can't get that promotion. And that's why they put that other white girl that is not as smart as you are in front of you. I never thought about all of that, So, yeah, so that was the beginning of it for me, working in the city. But the good thing I took out working in the city, in the 12 years I worked in the city, was in corporate, was the fact that I learned the good things of what it is to lead a team and the bad bits left behind. So now that I work for myself, and I have been for 16 years, I know how to treat my team to get the best out of my team. Like you said in the bio, I lead a team of 75. That's minimum. We're not talking about consultants I work with. We're not talking about corporates I work with, that I pay them to do a job. We're not talking about all of those people. Literally just saying the people that are generally on my payroll on a month-to-month basis. So the other ones, that consultant that I pay, we're not even talking about, we're not counting them. Do you understand? And it's so interesting that you've learned and you know how to maneuver yourself regardless of who or where you're speaking or talking to. And to me, that's key. Do you understand? To me, that's key. So it's not just about my team knowing Caroline in and out. It's about other people you've never experienced, or you want them to do some work for you, and you're thinking, and you're employing them to do that work for a period of time. That how do you maneuver around that organization, around their culture, around talking to them, but still feeling this? You're still this black woman. You're still this. You're still a woman, and yes, you do have. You are telling them they have to listen to you and dance to your tune, the way you want things to be done. So it's knowing what relationship works for you, and if that relationship would fit into your value and the things you hold on to dearly as a team, as a leader, as an organization. So for me, those are key things that I look at. So for example, I couldn't work with an organization that don't think a woman have a right to speak. I couldn't work with an organization that think, oh yeah, black people are this. I could, all of those things, they just even not, but they still exist unconsciously, but they do exist. And so it's like you then need to think, okay, what are my values? I know I'm an equal opportunity employer. So I know regardless of your sex or your sexual orientation, I will work with you regardless of whether I'm a Christian or not. Do you understand? So all of those things are really important. And you grew up here, so you know them things. You don't even have a leg to stand on, to be honest. And I feel even for us, and I think a majority of the people that might be listening to this will come in from West Africa or Africa as a whole, because of obviously your target audience, and not so much your target audience, but in terms of your followers. I know you have us follow you, but a majority of your clients as well are in Nigeria or in Africa, I would say. And they would listen to them, and they need to wake up. And I know things are changing. Things are definitely changing, but we're not there yet. But we're in the 21st century. We should be there already. We should really be there. I mean, I think it was this month we did and I know I'm deviating a bit, but it's this month we celebrated Women's International Month or Women's International Day.
Yeah,
And
International Women's Day.
Exactly. I categorically said, and I hands up, I said, my challenge is for us to get away from those cliches, those myths about women are this and women are that. We need to get rid of it. And the whole thing around where we're our own worst enemy. No, we're not. We choose, some of us just choose to be different. Some of us,
that's very true.
To be different. You choose to be different. That's why we're talking today. And then you and I did something 2 weeks ago. Do you understand? It's like, guys, come on. You know, so, and that's it. We choose to be different. We choose to be the ones to put the ladder down for everybody else to climb on top. We choose to be that break the glass ceiling because we want to set an example for the people coming behind us. So we need to stand up for ourselves and stop even entertaining those conversations that women are this and women are that. We're not. We change those conversations. We change those myths. And we're moving on to say we're speaking positive. It's similar thing when we're talking about the affirmation. You get that negative in your head. You don't speak it out. You give that affirmation. No, yes, my head is saying I'm tired, but guess what? I'm strong because the Bible says I'm strong. You understand? So you don't give that negative a room to exercise itself. You give it back, the word. And that's like, no, women, we are good for ourselves. We encourage each other. We collaborate together. We work together. We lift each other up. We're not jealous of each other. All of those things, you know, so.
Yeah, changing the narrative is so important. Changing the narrative and then changing the loop as well, because for a long time, people will say, oh, women don't support each other, that we're always the ones trying to pull ourselves down. But we are refusing to join that bandwagon. And we're saying that we're going to be different, regardless of whatever challenge that we see. And we celebrate our uniqueness and our differences. We know that many of us have different temperaments, different ways of doing things. And we choose to see the positive in that rather than the negative. So it is, and that is why that's why it takes certain skills and certain kind of mindset to be a leader. So if I asked you, what does leadership mean to you? How would you define leadership?
I mean, first and foremost, and this is why it's so important for you, for anyone listening, to really know that no apologies, exactly, be your authentic self, no apologies. Definitely, Michael. But first and foremost, it's like, for you to be a leader, you have to serve. You have to serve. And I say this anywhere I go to speak, that for me, leading my team, guess what? They're the engine of my business. They're the oil that makes my business soften, that makes my business go round. I'm sitting here talking to you. We probably will do this for 45 minutes to an hour. Guess what? Business is going around in 14 branches. I am not there. They're sending letters out, speaking to parents, cuddling the children, talking to children, making whatever it is they're doing. I am not there. I am talking to you. But why is that? That's because we've put processes and seamless policies in place that people can follow. But if you're not a leader that serves, if you're not a leader that understands, if you're not a leader that is empathetic, if you're not a leader that your door is constantly open, these people would not follow you. They would not follow you. If you're not authoritarian, they would not follow you. You need to be that leader that's worth looking up to. You need to be that leader that understands where everyone is going. You need to be that leader that understands the fact that it's not about you, it's about everybody else around you. But for you to be that, you need to know yourself as a leader. You need to know who you are. Because if you don't evaluate your person, it's impossible for you to know how to celebrate others if you don't even know your person, you as a person. I know, for example, for me, it's about knowing what makes all of my team tick. What's the thing what's their strengths, what's their weaknesses, what is it they like, what's their dislikes, how can I get the best out of them? When are they low, when are they positive, and that's it. I mean, I had a conference the weekend on Thursday and Friday that I paid for, and I paid for over 10 people to attend. And this is what they don't have to attend it. It's got nothing to do with childcare. It's got nothing to do with work. It's a lot to do with knowing you are the woman for the job. Positivity, lifting you up, like we talk about the Ngozis and the Kamaras. That's what the course is about. That's what the training was about. And I put my girls on them thinking, guys, this is where I get my mail. This is how Caroline remains positive. This is what. So I empower them. So for me, it's investing in them, training them, pushing them to be their best self. That's what a leader is about.
Awesome. And I think if I go back to what you shared about your backstory, it's amazing because, you know, many times we make a lot of excuses and then we start to blame. Oh, it's because I didn't go to a good school. Or it's because I didn't have opportunity for this and that. When you share that part about the fact that you failed every kind of exam imaginable, I don't know if you saw my face, but I was like, shut the front door. You got to be kidding me, right? Seriously? Like, you know, like, and you said your mother was just like looking for a way to get rid of you. And she was like, just go to the UK and go where nobody knows me. Because let me be mean now. I call you by your Arabic name, Muibat, bad disgrace.
Yeah, honestly, I am being honest with you. But do you know what? We all have a story. And I'm sure my mom, bless her heart, she looks at me now and she beams with glow, like literally her face constantly. Do you know, she glows every time she speaks to me. You can hear the glowing on the phone when she speaks to me. When I speak, literally, you can almost hear it. How can you? That is how, but that's it. And I'm sure if I said that, well, Caroline, or if she calls me Kike, if I didn't do that, well, obviously you won't be. And I thank God for it. Because before you and I started talking, behind the scene, I said this one thing to you, that you can be in a country flowing with milk and honey. If you're not in the right geographical area that God has called you to be, that milk and honey will pass you by.
Right on.
And that's it. So for me, she at the time, it's just like when the Bible says they rejected the chief cornerstone. The same stone they rejected is the same. You understand?
Has become the chief
cornerstone. So that's it. To her at the time, and to me at the time, it felt like, how dare you? You are just the worst mother in the world. I don't know how you could ever be labeled as a mother. But look at it now. And I did think that. I honestly did think that. I had my return ticket at the time. I can never forget. Ticket was 8,600 naira when I came back to the UK. She bought a return ticket. They didn't do one way at the time. They did return ticket because it was so cheap. So she bought a return ticket, but it was more like, oh, you don't need it, kind of, oh, there's no point buying one way. 8,600 naira. She bought a return. I told her, because of the things I was experiencing, the place I lived, they were so nasty. Literally, it was horrible. But that's a story for another day. I said to her, if you don't come and sort me out here, I am going to use the return ticket. I'm coming back to Nigeria because I didn't suffer in Nigeria. We had help, we had money, so why have you made me suffer? Literally. It was.
And there's a reason why I decided to go back to your backstory, because it's kind of shaped you to be the woman you are, because we're talking about women in leadership shattering glass ceilings, right? Sometimes many of us are the ones holding ourselves hostage with our past and saying that, oh, it's because I went through this horrible thing. It's because I went through physical abuse. It's because I was raped. But many people have been able to use that same narrative that was really horrible, that could have damaged them forever, and they've turned it into something that is literally saving other people's lives, because by sharing their story, by using their pain and turning it into a profitable, that we can start to mention Oprah Winfrey, we can mention Joyce Meyer, that have gone through like really horrible stuff in their childhood. So when you shared that came to the forefront of my mind, that you specifically went into childcare, and I'm kind of seeing the correlation. I think you kind of have an affinity. You want children to feel loved. You want them to have the best opportunities and stuff, because your backstory makes a lot of sense. It's beginning to make a lot of sense because your previous corporate jobs had nothing to do with childcare. You were in
Yeah,
HR and all those kind. But it's amazing that
but
when you
then,
decide to be an entrepreneur.
do you know what? I think, see, again, that's what when I share the story of how I started the business, people, like you said, just think I love children. Don't get me wrong, I don't mind them. And I keep saying this, I don't mind. I don't mind children. See, before I started my first setting, right, my first childcare setting, I've never looked after a child in my life. My friends will never trust me with their kids. It is that I got married late, so I had children later. But my friends could never, so they got married early and they could never trust me with their kids. So, but when I went into childcare, I assumed, I know I went into childcare for one thing, and it's nothing but money. And I'm being honest with you. And this is where sometimes when people talk about their passion, I'm like, oh, you have to be passionate about what you do. I'm going to slightly break that myths, guys, for all of you listening. Whilst I agree 101%, because if you don't know your why of doing anything or going to anything, and the why is so strong, you won't stick at it when hurdles and when challenges come. I get it, 101%. But my why is money. But even though my why, and I shouted from the rooftop, my why is money. And the reason I said money is because I can be a blessing. I can tell you, you can't, we've so caged this thing about talking about money that you never want to speak about it. It's a taboo, especially for us in the UK, it's like a big taboo. And I guess even for you guys in Nigeria, it's a thing because of the environment. You don't want to, do you understand? And I get it. But going into childcare for me first was money. Thinking, okay, what job can I do that I don't have to work hard, but I can still earn money? That's obviously it's a lie, because I literally spent, if there was anything more than 24 hours in a day, I spent it doing work when I first started. Literally for the first 4 or 5 years of my business, I literally probably saw 2 hours sleep every night. It was that bad. It was awful. It was such hard work. And then people sleeping out with my 300-pound wigs and whatever, and thinking, and you're thinking, really? If you like what I have, guess what? You have to walk in my walk, love. It's that simple. You can't even.
So true.
You can't start to hate. It's impossible. My last child, I had him at 3 o'clock in the afternoon. By 9 o'clock the following day, I had my baby. My mom was holding my baby in the car. I was walking like this. I went into work the following day. So for anyone to start to hate, which I don't care, you've got to have been through that thing of like that baby coming out proper, not with no injection, nothing, and you're walking like a penguin to go back into work the following day. And it's my business. It's not somebody else's business. My business. You think I should be a girl lady and stay at home? No. I went back into work and mom sat in the car with my newborn baby. So if anyone's going to hate, there's no space, love. God is not even going to listen to any of those prayers because you haven't been, he's not going to listen to it. So just going back to the topic, I get you 101%. It's really important for you to understand yourself and understand where you're coming from. Stop playing the victim game. I chose not to be a victim. I can tell you 1,001 things. Is it abuse? Yes, we said it. I've been through it when I was younger. But I choose not to be a victim. I lived in a hostel with druggies that I get shown the needle and stuff. And I just rub their head and walk away. I choose not to be a victim. I lived in a hostel literally for 5-6 years of my life. I choose not to be a victim. I choose to be a victor all the time. I choose that without those experiences, I would not have a testimony. I would not be talking to you today, Madame Merola. I won't be talking to you today because I will not be qualified to speak to anyone that's been through that. I agree. So literally, my mom has lands, properties, and everything. I could decide, guess what? I'm packing my bags. I'm going to sit on one property and be doing.
And just chill. And just chill.
You choose to be that leader that sets an example.
Mm.
And that's it. So do you want to play the victim game? No. Entitlement game? No. I tell my mom, Mommy, if you have worked hard your life. My mom's 81 and she's still renovating a property. I said, Mom, what are you doing? Who is living in the property you're renovating? If you sell one, you would eat and not do anything for the rest of it. Only one. I'm not even talking about many. One. But guess what? She understands what the Bible says, leaving an inheritance for your children's children. But at the same time, I could use that inheritance mindset and say, oh, well, she's done it. I don't need to work hard. I choose not to. She's done her bit. I need to do my bit. You know,
I'm gonna pick on two things you mentioned, right? The first one is about the issue of passion over profitability. And it's so important because you said it when you talked about self-awareness, right? I personally had to deal with that issue because there were many times whereby what I was passionate about sometimes were not very profitable at that point in time. And then sometimes there were things that were really profitable for me, but I had zero passion about them. So I kind of struggled for a long time to find where I should fit in and find my fulfillment. And it was until I settled it within myself who I was and my why and what I had to offer to people. Then I realized that we have all been called to do different things. There's some people that their profiting might not be in millions or in billions. But if you don't know who you are and what you've been called to do, you can end up poking your noses in other people's business and trying to do what other people are doing, and you find yourself miserable even though you've got the money. So I wanted to mention that sometimes it has to do with the key elements of the role you're supposed to play. So some people have been called to be financiers, right? So they need to be highly profitable to be able to finance all this other project and stuff. While some other people, they're there to just give some of their gifts in such a way that money can't buy it. And somehow we lose sight of that, because when we want to put a price tag on everything, we start to now dilute the value of what people bring to the table. And then the second thing I wanted to mention.
Yeah. Go on. No. I'm so glad you said that, because that is so me. I mean, there's quite a few things that would. It's so like that diversification of your business, and they say, "Oh, Caroline, you know, you want to do them," thinking, yeah, but how much? Nah, because to me, it's like, because to me, I get it, but one is not passion, and two, in terms of the return, I'm thinking, no, not really. No, do you understand? Even though it's another means of diversifying my business, I'm thinking, no, it's not worth it. And that's it. However, if you say to me, what's my calling? Apart from giving, which I think is my number one calling, no, the other thing is with regards to women, and this is based on what I went through in the last year and a half, nearly 2 years. I've been called to women that are leaders, or any woman at all that's really gone through the whole thing of they've achieved everything they have to achieve and they need to find fulfillment. But in the process, they're lost to being a wife, a mother, an entrepreneur, a businesswoman, a career woman, whatever. And they've lost their identity. We need to jazz you up. We need to get you out. We need you to find you. Let's get you out, because you are beautifully and wonderfully made. You are powerful. You are strong. You're authentic. You are this person that God has called you to be. Are you living that thing that God has called you to be? And for me, those are the women I want to get out. Say, guys, come on. Where have you been? Because prior to you being a mom, prior to you being a wife, prior to you being a mother, you were this wonderful single lady that was hitting all the targets and so on. Where have you been? Why have you hidden that? You don't want to get to that side when you're saying to yourself, oh, it's because of that boy, I didn't go to college. It's because of that, I didn't do that business. It's because I got pregnant. That's what our parents used to say. Don't be that. There's no reason why you can't be what God has called you to be now. Even with having all of that, you can still be that person. So for me, it's so key that people find their individuality and their authenticity.
I lost.
No, that's fine. I can see the network is messing up here.
I lost speech. Yes, I lost. No, someone's actually calling, and I'm using the network from my phone. So that leads me to actually ask you that: where do you sit, whereby in the school of thought where people say women cannot have it all? Because you mentioned something that's so vital, whereby women wear so many different roles and hats, and people say one school of thought says women can have it all. Another school of thought says, no, they can't have it all. Something's got to go. You've got to sacrifice one thing for another. And another one says that you can have it all, but just at different times, right? So because you want to know, like, okay, can you be the wife, the mother, the entrepreneur, the billionaire mogul, the ministry woman, all of it, and have love in your life, have fulfillment, have satisfaction, everything, wearing all those hats. So where do you sit in that pocket?
I see with the third one you said, and the reason I said that, you can have it all, but at different times. You can have it all, but you need to, the first thing we need to do is learn to forgive ourselves. If you love you and you learn to forgive, because if you don't forgive, guess what? You would think the times you drop the ball because you forgot the school dinner lunch or whatever, that's made you a bad mother. Literally, it's that simple. And that would haunt you if you allow it. What I say to people is, if the man forgets the pack lunch, he gets them to get on with it. He doesn't even mention it when he gets home to say, oh, by the way, I forgot the pack lunch today, because it's not bothered him. So why do you want to be bothered? Why do you let it disturb you? And yes, it's because we have that internal instinct. Great. But guys, if God says your children are a blessing, your business is a blessing, all of these other things is added onto you is meant to be a blessing. Why are you letting be a curse in your life? Because if it started to affect you emotionally and started to question the person that you are, that means you are letting it have a negative effect instead of the positive effect, and the addition is meant to be in your life. So I choose not to feel guilty. I give myself permission to fail. I give myself permission to be okay. I give myself permission to get it wrong. And that's why I can healthily have a balanced life. My children understand, because mommy forgot the packed lunch, guess what? It's not the end of the world. You can have school dinners today. And we'll do packed lunch tomorrow. I mean, at one point, I actually turned it to the children. I said, I tell you what, I'll do you packed lunch as long as you remember to remind me to get the bread and the ham and the cheese. Guess what? After 2 weeks, they forgot. Whose guilt is it? Theirs, not mine.
Exactly. Everyone's got a role to play.
Yeah, everyone's got a role to play. Same thing with my team. Miss Caroline, we need to buy this, we need to buy this, we need to buy. I don't have an issue with it. Guess what? We've got a company card. Who is volunteering? Why does Miss Caroline have to do it? So the day you run out, it's not my problem. You guys have a company card, right? So don't look on my side, love. And that's it. So you pass the risk. That's why you can have it healthily. The day the husband's saying, babes, we can order in. There's no food in the house. I get it. We can order in. It's no big deal. What do you fancy? How do you fancy it? Honestly. So we need to stop beating ourselves up and give ourselves permission to live. Give ourselves permission to survive.
And making life so hard for ourselves. Making life so hard for ourselves, because we can simplify things sometimes.
Honestly, I've been married for 20 years. And I said to my husband, when we got married, he loved ironing, right? And obviously he irons, and allegedly he expects me to clean. That's allegedly.
I understand that.
He expects me to clean, right? So
that's a mistake.
I said, baby, I don't enjoy cleaning. So he's like, well, yeah, but I do the iron. I said, yeah, but that's because you choose to do the ironing. I didn't ask you to iron. You choose to do it. I said, so I've decided we're getting a cleaner in to clean for us. I said, do you want me to get someone to iron? Literally. And he said, no. I said, okay, when you change your mind, let me know. Because I choose not to feel guilty that you're ironing and I'm sitting down. I choose not to feel guilty. You chose to iron. It's not me. So God has blessed us now that we can afford someone to iron for us. If you choose to iron and you don't want to pay somebody for it, I choose to pay someone to clean. So feel free. And he's done it for 20 years, which was mine. It's fine.
So, Caroline, I want to ask you something, because, one of the questions was, why all of a sudden are more women shattering the glass ceilings? And one of the things you just said now answers that question. It's about reorientation of our mindset. Like, basically, you don't have that closed in mindset that, oh, because I'm a wife and I'm a mother and stuff, I have to do this, I have to do that. So I think many women put so much pressure on themselves because of the way we were raised, that you need to do this, you need to do that. And then the men also had this view of what a married woman should do. So they'll be like, you're expected to do this, you're expected to do this as a mother. And then you now be like, okay, so how am I supposed to be the career woman or the professional woman and the mother and the wife? And it was like you're trying to keep all the balls in the air at the same time. But more women are beginning to find ways to be able to align everything and know that, just as you said, we can have it all, but at different times, right? So maybe for this month, you guys are not going to have home cooked meal by mom, right? Because mom has got an important project. So you guys are going to eat takeaway or stuff, or I'll get someone to cook the meals and drop it in the house.
Exactly.
And you guys are not going to die. You're going to eat food. It's just that I didn't make it, and it doesn't matter that I didn't make it. I still ensured all of you were fed. So it's this mindset shift that we can give things out to other people to do for us. Is about being able to say that I don't need to do everything myself.
Everything.
I can start to look for people that I can delegate to. I can ask other people to, take this role for me and stuff for a season, and not feel guilty. That's the key word. Not feel guilty about it. Because we can't break the glass ceilings if we're in two minds about, oh, am I doing what's right? Oh, my family's suffering, or my work is suffering, and stuff like that. It's that guilt that is eating away at men and women, and they're making them to take the back seat in their lives because they feel that I don't want to be seen as someone that sacrificed this for the sake of my career. And then we have the other opposite of the women that have sacrificed everything, and they stay at home and say, oh, because my husband doesn't like it, or this and that, or my children need me. And then they get to their mid-40s and 50s and they're miserable because they're like, my whole life is gone and I haven't achieved anything because I was busy serving and giving and sacrificing my own dreams and my own wants for other people. Yeah. So what are the things you think?
And that's the thing, is like, no one's asked you. No one's asked you to sacrifice. You chose to sacrifice. No one's asked you. Because if you ask the husband, did you ask me to sit at home? You chose to sit at home. Because if you have, there's this woman I listen to, her name is Alice Edgar. She's one of the MBA. So when she decided to go into business, she said to her husband that, oh, you're not even supportive. Her husband said, when you start to take that business seriously, I will support you. And that's it. It's not playing just lip service and knowing you put your mind to something. Oh yeah, but I said I want to open a shop. I'm talking about like in Nigeria. I want to open a shop and you didn't say anything. And I decided to, really? Is it the one that's going to open the shop for you? You have to, it's your dream. He can't live your dream for you. It's just, imagine my husband's dream. I can't live his dream for him. If he wants something, he's got to get up and want to do it. I'll support him, but he has to get up to do it. He's got to be the driver of it. He's got to be the driving force, not me. Same thing. Any woman that says that you've chosen to sit, and okay, fine. Maybe it fitted into the goal and the vision of the house at the time. Great. Yeah. These things can still change. So when the children now turn 5, or they turn 7, or they went to secondary school, which is secondary school in Nigeria, we call it. They go to secondary school. Why are you still sitting at home? Unless you choose to sit at home, that's fine. What do you want to do for yourself? There's nothing wrong in changing your vision, in changing your career, in changing your goals, in having a new vision. But you just assume, because when the kids were tiny, it makes sense 10 years, 20 years down the line, the husband is still going to support it. No, the kids are grown. You can find a life. And there's nothing wrong with that. Nothing at all. But the whole thing of like being negative about it and losing yourself in the process would not work. And not so much for us in this country, but then you have relatives and all that. If something happens, then the relatives they come and shove you out, and you're then saying, no. I think we've got to that stage where women need to have their own finances and that's a conversation for another day, but we need to stand up for ourselves, and we should stop playing the victim game. We really would be our own worst enemy for carrying like that, to be honest with you.
I agree. So what other things do you think we need to do as women to ensure that we do not place a limitation on what we can achieve in our life? Because you talked about mindset, you talked about the hard work and discipline that you need to put in place. Because when you mentioned what you had to do when you started your business, so many people will just see the glory of where you've attained, but then you had to pay a price at that point in time. So discipline, mindset, what else do we need to have?
For me,
as part of the
I think for me, it's knowing yourself first. I keep saying that because once you evaluate and know what your strengths are, it's then easy to maneuver through life. Because you need to know what your strengths are. You need to know what you're passionate about, what you love to do. And then you can then think, okay, once I've identified all of this, how do I then get into it? Then you're saying, do you need a mentor? Do you need to retrain yourself? Do you need to learn more? Because I said to you, obviously, I didn't pass the simple GCSE when I was in Nigeria. I didn't come back. Even the way I did my first degree, if I told you, you'd be like, Caroline, literally, it is that bad. But guess what? I didn't sit on there and think, oh, well, I didn't pass. I'm not going to learn anything else. I had to find, okay, how does Caroline learn? Caroline doesn't learn by sitting and doing exams. But guess what? Caroline likes listening to audiobooks. Caroline likes listening to podcasts. Caroline likes attending short courses that are relevant. So then once I've identified what Caroline likes, then Caroline starts to book herself onto these things that will propel her to be the best in her field. It's easy. There's no right or wrong way of learning. And when I could not believe I got to Oxford University from that girl that failed every single GCSE.
Honestly.
I was saying to my friend, I think Fina, I said, what is the worst qualification you can get in Nigeria? I think, is it F9 at the time, or something like that?
Yes, F9.
Like, I think here you get like they can't even unidentify.
Unidentified, so they put there on that. Sorry, your score is not even. It didn't even make. It's not worth grading.
And this is what I'm talking about. And then the same girl, thanks, Fina. The same girl gets to get to Oxford University. How is that? She still doesn't learn. She still doesn't like learning. Remember, but because Oxford University has opened its doors to entrepreneurs, business people that are looking to accelerate and do great things. And I had the opportunity to win a scholarship on a £35,000 course to do for 4 months. That's how I got myself into Oxford University. And that's the thing, because it's not one way fits all. One way don't fit all. So I had to know, is this the way I learn? The opportunity came and I went for it. But you had to do an interview. If I wasn't good at speaking, if I wasn't good at presenting myself, if I wasn't good at pitching, I had 3 panels I had to pitch to win this scholarship to get to the university. So if I wasn't good at what I do as a business, they go to a stage of thinking, what are you even coming to learn? Because you said all the lovely stuff. We don't know what you want us to teach you. I said, I just want to invest in Caroline for a change. Just love Caroline as a businesswoman. And know that Caroline can, that's what I said. I said, I just want to learn for a change around business, because I literally am what you call the accidental entrepreneur. I never went for a business course in my life. That was my first
I
ever
love
business.
that. Accidental entrepreneur.
Exactly. So that limitation, we place it on ourselves. I can say I have no qualification. And my friend, my flatmate, she went to university in one of the universities of London. And she called me from uni and said, "Oh, Caroline, guess what? I'm enrolled in and I've just seen a course that it will suit you. It's communication and PR. I'll put your name there." I'm thinking, oh, all right, then fine. That's how I did my first degree. I didn't even choose it myself. I just said, oh, well, I guess for the sake of it, just going to uni because everyone has to go to uni. That's why I went. But at the same time, I went for my master's in one of the other universities, £6,500. I thought, yes, this is it. Caroline is going to learn. I'm going to do this for myself. International businesses I enrolled for, paid straight away. Guess what? When it came to doing my homework, I was depressed. I was upset. I lost literally my mind. I cried. But when it comes to building one of my nurseries at £250,000, and I'm going to talk to builders, and I'm going to architects, talk to planning, it's like, hey, the day has just brightened up, and I'm thinking, Caroline, this is not your calling. Leave the MBA for people that want to do MBA. It's not your calling.
Wow.
It's not your calling. Your business don't need your MBA. The people you're speaking to don't need your MBA. If they don't like you, that's their prerogative. It's got nothing to do with you. MBA or no MBA, guess what? My business is thriving. You are good. Your clients are listening. They don't need your MBA. Is it the children I'm looking at that I need my MBA? Yeah. No, I've been to.
You can employ the people with the MBA to do the work.
Thank you. I'm sure that's what 50 Cent say in his book, In a Hustle. That he now employs all of them. And I do. I do. My website designer, if he tells you, if he puts all his degree on his, I'm thinking, just do the work. That's it. But that's what I'm saying. You need to know you and know what's good about you and love you for you and know how you learn as a person. Definitely mine is not sitting in the four corners of a classroom and someone talking at me. That's not going to work. And expect me to do an exam at the end of it. But guess what? Ask me to bring up some case studies. Ask me to talk about people's experience. Ask me to talk. That would be it. Ask me to write it down. Definitely. Yeah. But don't ask me to come and add 1 + 1 + 15 divided by 20 times. Why am I doing that? What's that taking me? How much would that add into my account? And this is to parents as well. You need to keep an open mind. We're so close-minded. Yes. You have to be a doctor, lawyer, solicitor, engineering. Really? Really? I'm sure a lot of people in Nigeria now and in Africa as a whole, entertainers, you can see how rich and how wonderful they're doing without all of those things. So yeah, I think you've got to know yourself, know how you learn, definitely, and go for it. Don't limit yourself because you place the limitation on yourself, nobody else.
Wow. Caroline, it's 1 hour already. It's 1 hour and 3 minutes, and it's amazing how time just flew by. And it's like we should just keep on going on with this conversation because you're just dropping like really, really home truth gems. Sometimes some people will not tell you as it is, but you keep on going back to the same thing over and again, that you need to know yourself, because to know thyself is where the power lies, right? If you don't know yourself, you're not able to understand how you learn, how you can grow, how you can become a better version of yourself, what direction to go, and all those kind of things. And it's so funny that there's some similarity, because when people ask me why I didn't finish my master's, I kept on saying that I just instinctively knew it was not the right thing for me at that point in time. And so I definitely said, you know what, let me go this other route. And I don't regret it for a single moment. And I keep telling people that sometimes our brilliance is not in the certification, it's in the doing. So we have results to show to people for saying that, you know what, education can take you up to a certain place, right? There's some other things that you need to do the doing. Without the doing, without the experience, without the results, it's just going to be you accumulating a lot of piece of paper to say that I have competence, which is not exactly true, because the paper doesn't justify your competence in what you do. And I believe that the reason why
Yeah, sorry,
I
go on.
believe the
Sorry.
reason why women are breaking the glass ceilings is because we're beginning to look to our strengths and see that, look, I have the wherewithal to be able to do this job. I can make a difference here. My voice matters. We're not willing to shrink anymore into the background. We're not willing to be less of who we are just to make some other people feel comfortable around us. We are standing in our truth. We're standing in the fullness of our power. We are amplifying our voices. We are shining our light, and we are
Mm,
bringing our A game to the table every single
yeah,
time in every sphere
yeah,
of influence. And it's making a meaningful difference because now people can't shut us up. People can hide us in the
yeah,
background, and
yeah.
people need to acknowledge and say, you know what? If you want a point of reference, you need to look to Caroline Popoola for this. You need to look to this person for that. You need to look to Madame Merola for this, because truly
Mm,
we are doing great things in our own places of influence, and it's making a
mm,
meaningful difference.
mm. Definitely, definitely. I
So
mean,
it's already
I was
personal.
thinking about
Yes.
how do you shatter the glass ceiling? Literally, on the recognize it's there. You need to recognize, so you
Yes.
can't turn a blind eye. Like I said at the beginning, that obviously, even though I wasn't smart enough to know that, yes, you're black, white, girl, boy, sexual orientation, and all that, understand the organization you're working with, understand those things are there. And once you
Mm-hmm.
understand that, you then, okay, how do I tackle this? Do I need to be
Yes.
more training? Because the first thing is not to internalize and think you are the problem. You are not the problem.
Mm.
The
Yes,
organization is the
ma'am.
problem. So don't think you are the problem. Because once you take that ownership on board, it diminishes who you are immediately. It starts to eat on you. So you need
Yes.
to, the ownership is onto the company. Okay, that is there. How do I tackle it? What do I need to do more? How can I stand out? How can I be the best? And it shouldn't be on the basis of, oh, because you're a woman, oh yeah, you've got to go and nurse some baby. No, how could you get help
Yes.
so you can be that first person? You need to, like we said, you need to get someone to help you out if you need that help. You need to holler, you need to scream, you need to shout, say, guys, I need a hobby, I need help with a baby or nanny or whatever it is. You need to get someone to help out. And once you get that, you start to develop you as a person. You start
Yeah.
to develop you as a person and try to be the best within, or to be that ceiling, that glass ceiling you're trying to break. You're trying to say, what is required for me to get there? What do I need to do to get there? And before you know it, to get there, and if they're not opening the door, guess what? You know, when we started talking about a few years ago, we started talking about, oh, women being paid less than men and all that stuff. You know what? I didn't even join in that conversation, because
Quality
anyone
of
that
pay.
comes to my business and come and talk about it, I'm thinking, yeah, so why does it bother you? You start the business and employ the men. What's the big deal? It's not biggie. They pay women. You start the business and employ the men. Stop talking about it. And that's the honest truth. If it bothers you
Like
that
that.
much, if it bothers you that much, start it and employ them.
Mm.
You know, and that's it.
Word of
There's
the
no
day.
point
Word of the
joining
day.
in there's no point joining in the negative conversation. What difference can you bring to the table? That's what it's about. It's
Yeah.
about what difference can you bring to the table without belittling who you are. I've recognized I'm a very vulnerable leader, and I pride myself in it. There's so many other leaders and so many women that are doing great things, but they never ever talk about their vulnerability being their strength. Let's start to
Mm.
talk about it. Let's have that conversation. Why do you think a lot of these athletes and so on, they suffer mental illness and mental, why?
Yes. After.
Because they never recognize they can be vulnerable. They recognize in
Very
the
true.
cupboard, on the outside, the expectation placed on them. But if they come out and say, guys, this is who I am, this is what I'm like, they start to love them for their authentic self. Guys, be you. Don't try and be somebody else. It doesn't work. Guess what? You're an original. You're this. The bottom is too full. Get to the top, man. Birds don't collide in the air. The bottom is too full. Move on.
Mm-hmm.
There's no
There's
space
room
on
there.
the top. There's room. The bottom is too full. You're not needed at the bottom. Honestly.
I think you've ended it at the perfect point, that, that you need to get away from the bottom and go to the top that has got so much space. So, ladies and gentlemen, Caroline Popoola has dished out some amazing nuggets for us to be able to go and ruminate upon, and also to help us to understand that we need to have the right mindset, the right attitude, and stop making excuses. And above all, know yourself, know what you want. Be able to answer that question definitively, that this is what I want, this is what I want to achieve. And don't let anything, including yourself and your limiting mindset, stop you, because you can shatter that glass ceiling. And don't get yourself involved in negative conversations and stuff that will just make you spend your energy and time thinking about what cannot be possible. Rather, spend it doing the things or thinking about the things that you can possibly do to make an indelible difference in the world. And of course, keep shattering every ceiling that exists in your way, because you are an overcomer. You are a warrior, and you are definitely a masterpiece. You've got what it takes. So I'm just going to ask you two personal questions and we'll end the show because we've gone 10 minutes over the hour. So what is your favorite color?
Oh, it's red. It's got to be red.
Red.
It's always red.
Lovely.
Or burnt orange. I love red or burnt orange. I love burnt orange.
Okay.
Yeah.
Awesome. That's a pretty color too. So if I ask you, if you could just travel to the future and visit Caroline of 10 years time, what would you say to her?
You've done well. You've done well. Yeah. You've done well.
That's
I
amazing.
honestly, because I am living my best life. I fell a year and a half ago. I know we've gone over time. I fell a year and a half ago, and I had to. That's when I found me. That's when I couldn't wish for a better Caroline, even if I tried. I'm gonna be all teary now.
Oh.
Yeah.
Yes. So that's so sweet. And I love that, to be able to visit your future self and to be able to commend yourself and say, well done, Caroline, that you couldn't have been a better version of you at each moment that life came at you, and that you are truly living your best life is the best way to summarize what this show is about, because we say live a phenomenal life. And many people don't even know what it takes to live a phenomenal life. Many people are living a life that they are like spectators at. And this show has been set, and this is the 4th year running, to remind you of the fact that you were not created to be Thank you. To be a spectator in your own life. You're not supposed to be a victim of life itself. You are supposed to be the one in the driver's seat. You're supposed to take the bulls by the horn. You're supposed to tell yourself that I am who God has created me to be. I am free to be everything God has created me to be. And I refuse to allow anybody to limit me or keep me in a box that does not belong to me. You must see yourself as that very precious seed that God put upon this earth to make a mark of difference, and that whatever you've been put into to do it with all your heart, do it with all your soul, do it with all your might, knowing that you are truly a blessing, that you matter, your voice matters, your dream matters, your joy matters, your soul matters, your destiny matters, and above all, that every single thing you bring to the table is something that is valuable and no one can take it away from you, because no one can do you like you can. So thank you so much, Caroline Popoola, for joining me on the show today. It's been an amazing time, 1 hour, 30 minutes. Wow, time does go by when we're having fun. My name is Madame Merola. I'm the host of this show, and I want to thank every single person that has joined us live. And I want to say that if you've gained value from this show, just do us the courtesy. First of all, follow Caroline Popoola on our social media feed. You can find her on Facebook, you can find her on Instagram, you can find her on LinkedIn. Type her name as it is and search for the picture. You will see this beautiful, dynamic woman there. Follow her work, support what she does. Invite her to come and speak on your platform. Let her just come and mentor you. Also, pour life into you, because that is a calling. She has been called to support and to push other people into their destiny. So if you're a woman out there that you feel like you're floundering in your career, in your calling, you can speak to Caroline, and I can guarantee you that she will speak life into you. She will encourage you, and she will also share some tips that would help you get to where you're going to go. So share this video, because the replay will be available on Facebook and YouTube, Madame Merola page. Let some other women out there who think that their life is insignificant know that that is a lie of the enemy. Nobody was created to be insignificant, especially as a woman, the giver of life, the carriers of destinies, that everything we do is what allow life to continue as a cycle. So therefore, we must see our own value in ourselves for others to see it too. So women do work together. Women can break the glass ceilings. Women are choosing to challenge, and women are powerful beyond measure. We end this series on Choose to Challenge with this particular one, and I'm so grateful that it was Caroline that carried the last leg of this journey, because she really said some very important things that women should take away with, that we can have it all. Don't let anyone tell you you can't have it all. It is not true. You can have the love you want. You can have the prosperity you want. You can have the fulfillment you want. You can have your passion, everything. You can have it all. But it's just that you might have them at different stages and different phases. But it's possible to have it all. God bless each and every one of you. We pray for you that as you go forth in the rest of this month, that your hands, whatever you put your hands upon, it will prosper. That your mindset will be fixated on the right things. And that above all, you'll be in good health. And you will keep on believing in yourself and not allow anyone to shut you down, because you are a bold and audacious, no excuses, God masterpiece. Be a bang, live like a bang, and keep walking like one. Till next time, take care of yourselves, and God bless you guys. Bye.
Bye. Bye-bye.
Bye, everybody. Thank you, Fina. Thank you, everyone, for your wonderful comment. We appreciate you. Enjoy the rest of your Monday. Ciao.